was going on, but they just made me work a little extra to get on here this morning. So, hi, hello, good morning, and welcome. Today, I decided I was going to do a pick a card reading, and what you're going to do is look at 3 different crystals, and you're going to pick based on the vibe or the crystal that most aligns with you. And for those that are going to join live, you'll get to hear that particular reading plus other ramblings as well, for the entire show. Good morning, Denise. How are you, love? So we're gonna do. I have 3 piles that I've already created. With these piles, I'm also going to add the tarot cards on, while I'm doing it, just to get some clarification on some of the cards that we're showing. So I have 3 different crystals that you can choose from that are associated with these stacks of cards, and I'll show you one stack here. The elephant, the little rose quartz elephant. So it's whichever crystal and stack of cards aligns with you the most. So maybe this stack with this little rose quartz elephant is the one that aligns with you. Maybe it's this stack with this beautiful puppy. Okay, so maybe it's this little puppy in this particular stack. The dog's running away. Okay, maybe those are the cards with the little puppy that aligns with you. And then finally, we have this stack with the turtle. Okay, so you're going to decide based on which of the crystals or the stacks of cards that calls to you the most. So 1, 2, or 3. So number 1 is the elephant, number 2 is the puppy, and number 3 is the turtle. And for those of you that are here hanging out live, you get to listen to the entirety of the messages from all of them and determine which parts of the message maybe align with you the most. But definitely pay attention to whichever of the crystals that you chose, the animals that you chose, or the stacks that you were feeling most drawn to. Use your discernment, and maybe more than one pile resonated as well, or you felt more compelled or attached to one particular crystal, or both, or all. So enjoy. Okay, so this is a message from your higher self, and I know for a fact that the people that align with me are star seeds, light workers, they are chosen ones, earth angels, whatever terminology you want to use. But I do know that you are very spiritually aware and transcending and evolving. And so, well met, of course, well met. The first card is the overall energy, and that was from the 7 energies deck. So if you picked the elephant, these are your cards. And like I said, I will be drawing some additional cards. I'm just going to show the elephant for a moment. I'm going to be pulling some additional cards as we go through the reading. And these are the other 2 that you could potentially pick for reading number 2 and reading number 3. So whichever one calls to you the most. All right, so the energy, this is all messages from your higher self. So ears wide open. This isn't just about listening, right? Although we have an ongoing joke in the community that I'm in, and we use the listen, Linda, and sometimes we get that a little bit repetitive. But why? Because we're not listening. So we oftentimes get subtle cues, or we get advice, or we get information, and our guides are trying to help us all along. Your higher self is trying to nudge you in the direction of the plan that they had before you incarnated. So ears wide open is about you really paying attention, but it's about listening beyond just your ears. Right? Can you feel into the environment and feel the energy? Can you sense, what are your other senses, and how can you stretch them out there and go beyond the ordinary of what you're hearing? So the next card I pulled from the Enchanted Map. So this is kind of a bit of a direction. And for the elephant, we're heading in the direction of the dragon's lair. And it's really beautiful how the cards always seem to come together and delight me in a certain way, because spirit or universe, God, whatever you consider to be the fabric that weaves between all things, and how we can have readings like this is because of that energy that runs between us. So the cards, when they confirm that energy in a specific way, it's quite interesting. So the dragon's lair, this is an invitation. This is, it's a beautiful thing, but typically in order to enter into the dragon's lair, it comes at a it comes at a sacrifice of some sort. There's something that you surrender, or something that you let go of, or something that you give up. It's like bringing an offering, right, to the dragon. And it can be, there's a reverence that is there within the journey that we're going on. So we've been invited into this space. I checked with the shaman's dream with the next card. So remember, I shuffled each deck, and I pulled for one, and I pulled for the next, and I pulled for the next. Then I got the next deck, and I did the same thing. So the first deck is always then I've shuffled and shuffled before I come to that deck. And it's the first shuffle for that deck. So the dragon's hoard coming out with the dragon's lair, I thought was just absolutely synchronistic of it. So this is the dragon's hoard. So not only have we entered into the dragon's lair, but we are being offered the dragon's hoard. And this is about gifts that extend beyond. So your higher self's message thus far is for you to open yourself up for the experience of your gifts through your senses. How can you allow those to extend? And by letting go of the stuff that's held us back, and sometimes that stuff is just fear of what our gifts really are going to be, fear of what people are going to think about us within that space. And once we let go of all of that and we move beyond into understanding who we are, it opens up for us. And I think a lot of us are connecting very much right now to dragon energy. The next card that I pulled out was from, I wanted to get some wisdom from your higher self. So I used two different decks to look at wisdom. These two decks were looking at direction, while the first one was looking at the energy. So we've got the energy, we've got two cards for direction, and for the first card, it's all about the dragon's lair and the dragon's hoard. Wisdom from your higher self, in this case, is the ringmaster of scrutiny. The ringmaster of scrutiny is asking you to use your discernment, and it's more important now than, it's always been important, but the more that we become aware of how important it is, it becomes more important. There's so many people coming out, and just like me, I'm on a platform, I'm speaking to you, you come across me on social media, something resonates between us, so you stick around. But you should still listen to when I say something, how does it feel for you? Like, not everything that I say is going to be a thing that resonates fully with you. Always be discerning, regardless of how much you believe the person or you connect to that person. Always keep a little bit of your discernment. We've seen lots of big names prove to not be what you think that they were, and so we have to be careful, right? And always go back to you with everything. The ringmaster of scrutiny is also talking about clear vision. So this is, for this person here, your higher self is really giving a strong message of your gifts opening up, that you've come through this journey, you've evolved to a certain spot, that you are now accessing these gifts. And if you're not accessing them right now, the message is to sit with yourself, to open yourself up to the experience of those, and to keep your discernment around you. The other wisdom deck that I pulled from is the Wisdom of the Oracle, and in this one here we're getting Yang, and Yang is about taking action. So once we we have to understand that a part of it is that we have to practice. So, and practice being and doing nothing. Practice sitting with your emotions. Practice sensing into the space around you. Practice hearing beyond your normal practice. But there's a doing portion that's there. I think a lot of times people feel that they're going to go through a spiritual awakening and it's going to be boom, I'm clairvoyant, I can see the future, I'm clairaudient, I easily hear my guides, I'm clairsentient, I pick up on everybody's energy, I know who's up to no good right away, and it's just immediately you're in touch with all of your gifts and your gifts are fully opened and it's beautiful. But it's no different than your voice. Your voice is an instrument and it's a tool. And if you think that you can't sing, it's not that you can't sing, it's that you don't know how to sing. You don't know how to channel the air, how to use the muscles, and that by practice, which can get your ear to get into a better tune, right? To understand your voice in relation to pitch and tone and frequency. You can practice 11:11 on the time there. You can practice at that. So yang is about taking action. There's an actual doing part of it. But there's the underlying message as well is about going between the masculine and the feminine. There's a balance here that has to be maintained. We can't sit in the doing all the time. We have to sit in the being. And in this case, the sitting in the being and allowing yourself to experience what is around you without your two eyes or touching it, right? Without those physical things. Allow yourself to sense what you can sense extrasensorily. There's still a practice of doing, even though you're trying to do nothing. There's still something that you're doing. I asked for a message from the fairies as well that was being given to your higher self for those of you that cannot communicate with your higher self directly yet. And it's just you're not aware of the subtleties of communication. The fairies are reminding you of temptation. Sometimes temptation doesn't look like temptation or doesn't look like an addiction, right? It's that concept of in the beginning, addictions maybe seem like something different, or they might not even seem like an addiction, and then all of a sudden it's all consuming, or it's, got you to a point where it is actually causing problems. So the reason why with yang I had that feeling of there's this inherent balance, and that in some ways the doing that you are going to be doing isn't doing like taking like massive forward action. The doing of the taking action here is allowing yourself to sit in that space and sense into your environment. That's the doing. It's not this very masculine, it's more of the feminine, and that you're receiving and you're just being open. And there's that balancing between those two energies, because we do have all within ourselves. Speaking of the throat and singing and activation. So then I asked the Gateway of Light for an activation from your higher self for today. And the Anunnaki Light Codes was the card that they brought out for you. So the Anunnaki Light Codes is about an energetic shift. And that's what we've been talking about, shifting from the physical to the sensing, right? To sensing into your environment. Moving from the concept of action as in like a very driven go, 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 to taking action in creating stillness and sinking into those spaces and balancing between those energies. So the energy shift is happening, like where you're waking up and you're starting to open up to what you have at your disposal, your extrasensorial gifts. The other thing is that there's new information coming in, and it's the end of the cycle. And that's a very powerful thing. So seeing that come up, maybe the cardinal signs, we're feeling more drawn to the little pink elephant, because And Pluto leaving your sign, or leaving the sign of Capricorn into and going into the sign of Aquarius, is ending a very large cycle within your life of dealing with karma and challenges, and a lot of changes. So this Anunnaki light codes, I'll read the activation from the book for it, just because, or the connection, I guess is what it's called in here. And then I'm going to pull some cards, and I'm just going to see what else is coming up from your higher self as messages for the rose quartz elephant. So Anunnaki light codes. When I get the... All right. Say Anunnaki, Anunnaki, Anunnaki. I welcome in the presence of the Anunnaki people. Thank you, angelic cosmic beings, for immersing my energy body in your light codes. So that's the connect from that particular card. So we have two other piles of cards that we're going to look at. So if you're just showing up now, the messages that are within these may resonate with you more. So we have a blue dog, and we have a multicolored turtle. So black and gray turtle. My brain is, one's moss agate, or is an agate, and the other one, I can't remember. The blue one for some reason, because it's not sodalite, but sodalite is stuck in my head, so I'm like, it's not coming. Leopoldite, Leopoldite, or something like that, I think is the name of this particular crystal. But the little dog and the little turtle are the next two readings. This one was for the pink elephant. So if this elephant really resonates with you, then once the recording is posted, definitely go back and re-watch and listen to the first part of this message. All right, so we're going to consult the tarot to kind of get a little bit more on this reading. So for these guys, you have narrowly avoided disaster. There was some, maybe a lot of changes that you went through, or challenges, and at the end of the day, it was not as bad as it could have been. It may have been bad, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. You were pulled out of that. So it could have been some big change happened. Like, you think that you lost your job, but it ended up being the best thing that happened, because it pulled you into the direction to start to go and pursue, right? Some of those things are what allowed us to have that spiritual awakening. You are the emperor, though, and again, this is divine masculine energy, which is also yang energy. So that's in there as well. We have the journey that you've been on, and it's been an emotional journey, a very big emotional journey, and just realize how far you've come. Your wishes are being granted, and it's interesting because I talked about how it felt like this is that whole cardinal energy, and that, maybe you identified with this because you're one of the cardinal signs, like Capricorn, Cancer, the cardinal signs, Aries and Libra. Maybe you associate with those four cardinal signs, and the fact that Pluto is moving out of your sign, so it's that end of a cycle. And the star represents Aquarius, which is where Pluto is going. And as Pluto moves into Aquarius, I feel like this is just your sign that your energy is being manifested and your wishes are coming true. Like, I think that's a beautiful message from your higher self for deck 1. So we're going to check in on deck 2 and see what the cards are for the little blue puppy. And we start off with, so I'm going to just show you the little puppy again. Okay. We start off with the energy, and this is a message from your higher self. So if you're looking for a message from your higher self, stick around, maybe listen to the entire thing and see what resonates with you. We already did the rose quartz elephant, and so if that resonates with you, like I said, you can go back and check that out. This one here is for our blue dog, and if this one's not the one that resonates with you, maybe it's the turtle. Okay. So the energy for deck 2, Awakening Genius. Like, this card, like, just pulling this card out, I'm just, wow. Powerful energy coming from group 2 right away. Huge energy. So you're awakening. The card that we brought from the enchanted map, so this is around direction. is about follow the leader. So I feel like for those who are awakening their genius, there's maybe right now you're following someone, you're allowing them to lead you where you need to go. You have a mentor of some kind, but you are headed in a specific direction towards your goals. The drifter came out as well. So it's really interesting. As I said, these are pulling from different decks of cards. I used, what is it, 7 decks in total, and then the tarot deck, so 8 decks of cards in total. These decks were shuffled independently of one another. I didn't shuffle like for deck 2 all together. I shuffled 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So anyway, the drifter coming out for this, and you'll see 1440, so 144 as the number as well. So again, synchronicities with the chosen one. This is about a journey. This is a journey. The drifter is asking you to just experience life as it comes. And when you step into that space, like your higher self message for you, telling you, like, when you step into that space of just, I am flowing, I'm meeting the day as the day comes, and I am greeting it and with as much love and peace as I can, and moving forward from that moment. And when it's gone, it's gone. It's gone. It's like the river. You don't sit in the same water twice. The river keeps flowing, and so allow it to keep flowing and let it go freely. So in the deck of wisdom, I wanted to consult with 2 different decks to see what wisdom your higher self was sending to you. And the card that came out of the first deck is the Diamond Dreamer. The Diamond Dreamer is about material wealth and true prosperity. So the genius that is awakening in you, the fact that maybe you've got a mentor or you're going to have a mentor and you're starting to experience life in that flow, that's the true prosperity, because you are in your authenticity. We have the To Be Fair card coming out. So the To Be Fair card is about the truth, right? There's the laws that we have in society, and then there's the absolute laws that we have. And those absolute laws that we have, they exist beyond this space. So one of those laws is that everything changes except for the first 3 laws. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It's through a transmutation. So to be fair is that everything will balance out, and it may not balance out in this space, but to be fair, it will balance out where it actually matters, which is within in the aspects of absolute truth. The message from the fairy is to find balance. So again, there's a message of balance for both deck 1 and 2. So if you felt like you're a little bit out of harmony, you might want to look at and listen to the elephant, the first deck. The elephant feels more like it's moving into this space, and but their wishes are being granted. And this one here is the step of like you're moving into your passion. The card from the Kyle Gray's Gateway of Light activation. So the activation that I asked for is the Star Being Healing Codes. Okay, so what this is saying is that you're receiving important information. Your wounds are healed and you are now recharging. So for many that are in this space of or felt called to the second pile, you may have felt called to that pile because you know that you've had this big awakening. The energy's been fantastic, but you also feel like you're just, oh, I'm just tired. I just need to recuperate. And there's an integration space. Like there's time for integration. If you're receiving a download and that download is coming via light codes and you're not even aware of it in your logic, that's why you're tired, is the energy, you're still integrating it. You're just not logically or consciously aware of this energy that's being done behind the scenes. When you're going through your trauma and working through those and letting go of limiting beliefs, you can understand that by releasing those, that there's going to be the work of that energy transfer. And when that energy, the energy that you're putting out to transmute that from pain into love, that is what is the energy, why you're tired. You know, it makes sense when you look at it that way. So I'm going to pick up the tarot cards from the first one so that we're looking at the tarot cards from a complete deck. So the other cards were not pulled that way. So the cards, when they came out, they were out. That was it. You had one less card or two less cards for your pile. But for the tarot, for doing the clarifications on the deck to get a little more information from your higher self, I want to do it from the full deck of tarot. So what we've got is, it's definitely been a journey, and I think at this point you've been looking, this is incredible. I'm loving the message that's coming in from your higher self from these cards. I gotta sneeze. Pardon me. Or not. I might decide to... I'm chasing sneezes, guys. I'm chasing sneezes. Okay. So it's you guys have been through it. Group or card deck 2, you guys have been through it. And by through it, I mean you've been through the emotions. You've delved to the depths of your emotion to get to the point where people aren't controlling your emotions anymore. You had to walk away from friendships and relationships that you thought were going to be there forever. You thought was your family, or thought was your best friend, or thought was your husband, and you had, or your wife, and you had to move away from that space because you're no longer resonating. So there's been a lot that you've let go of. You shed those layers. And in shedding those layers, you walked away from the things that didn't serve you, and you took only the things that did. You packed lightly. You started being responsible for other people's emotions. You stopped being responsible for the things that are not your responsibility. And you just carried on that journey. And now you're in the space where you're recharging. And this is not just energetic boundaries, but also can be physical boundaries. Okay? And hi, Richard. I saw you come in there. I didn't want to stop in the middle of it to get into saying hello, but hello, everybody. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Simon. Hi, Denise. Hi, Granny. Hi, Dee. I thank everybody. I love you. Mwah. Have a beautiful day. Sorry you can't join us today. I'll miss you in the collective. Alrighty, so let's see what we have for the turtle. So if you resonated with the turtle, this is your message. And if you resonated with any of the other ones, go and watch them as well. If you felt pulled to one first and then was, oh, well, maybe that one, it's the order in which you should listen to them if you can. Okay, so we started with energy. The energy that we have in this one is the Oracle's gift. So I feel like these people are aware of their gifts. They know that they are intuitive. They are connecting with their guides. They're, connecting with animals. They channel Mother Earth. They speak light language. Whatever it is, they have an intuitive gift at the very least that they know that they have. There's a bit of an awareness that seems to come from this. And this is your higher self wants to give you encouragement. They want to send that, the direction is they're just encouraging you to continue. Like the mom or the parent, they're just very proud of you. They're very proud of you. They know that you have taken this sacred contract. This is, you agreed to do this, and you're picking up the contract of your ancestors and saying, I'm going to complete what you started. I've got this, right? So this is a very powerful energy that's coming up here. In the wisdom space, we have the Sun Dancer from the one deck. So this is joyful activity, celebration of life, and abundance. So abundance is coming in, and it's because you guys are in a joyful space. You're celebrating life. You're connected with your gifts, and you're just enjoying yourself. And that's what we're meant to be doing. The card from the other wisdom deck is round and round. Now with round and round, it is the concept that as we spiral, we elevate upwards. It's not flat, one-dimensional. We're not spiraling like this. We're actually spiraling like this. And in fact, it's the spiral gets smaller as we get towards the top. And when you're going around it, it feels like this feels familiar to something that I experienced before. But you're looking from a higher level down onto the space below you with a new perspective, with growth and maturity, with, you know, understanding. So you're not making the same decisions that you were back then. And that's what the whole going around is to show you I'm not coming from the same space. You're no longer participating in the round and round in the sense of I'm going to keep re-experiencing these because I'm not learning the lesson. You've got the concept of round and round in transcendence, that as I navigate through these experiences and learn and let go of the things that don't work for me or resonate with me, aren't healthy for me, as I navigate through that, I no longer spiral in all those spaces, and I get higher and less attached to those things. The journey, the fairy message for the people that resonated with the turtle, the fairies wanted to talk to you about a journey. And this journey of life, you know, you can look at, you know, there's the early journey through all of our traumas and all of those experiences, and then we begin the healing journey, and we get through the bulk of our healing to a certain point. That's when we usually come back up as the wounded healer, where we think we're going to help save everybody in the whole world, and we're going to heal our family, and we're going to do all of that. We navigate through that, and then we get to the next one, and we're spiraling up. So this is the journey that you're in now, where you're aligned with your gifts and your passion and your purpose, and you are in the journey of what you came here for. And when you're in this space, like if you have the dream of living in a different country, if you have the dream of travel, if you feel pulled to a specific ley line, or, you know, a specific country or something like that, the energy here is very much be prepared to move, be prepared to change environments, be prepared to, you know, follow the journey of your dream wherever it leads you, is the other message that the fairies are giving. With this group here, when I asked for an activation, the activation that came is the Chamber of the Violet Flame. The Chamber of the Violet Flame is the karmic release. This is radical transformation. So, and this is not the transformation that's temporary. This is, you know, and you are not, like, you can't peel back. You're not pulling the veil back over your eye. It's too open now. There's no going back. And the release of karma is huge, huge, huge. I'm getting like strong energy from my guides that your family, your ancestors, your guides are so proud of you for the work that you've done in transmuting the karmic stuff within your family lineage. So let's see what else we have for messages for this beautiful turtle, and see what's coming up for you guys. Okay, so what else does your higher self have to say via the tarot? What does the tarot have to say? Or your higher self? What message for you guys? Oh, okay, so this is perfect. So these guys, they have went through the ringer too. Grief, like just deep grief, deep shadow work, really delving into the cracks within your heart that were so damaged or so scarred or so hurt, and just peeling back those layers and bringing light into it. It's just beautiful. This had blocked you from your creativity, blocked you from your femininity, being in that space of feeling like you have to cling to everything and hold tightly to it. And where you're moving to now is this healed space of joy, of peace, and of abundance. You're wise. You've implemented the changes that were necessary, and now you're harvesting the fruits because you're completely connected to who you are and where you're headed. It's a beautiful reading for the yellow for the little turtle. So those are the readings that I wanted to do for everybody today. We can continue to hang out and chat about a bunch of different things, because I did have some really cool knowledge or information come up today. Hello, Byron. And if not, one of the things that we could do is take an intermission, and I could see you guys at noon in the Mind, Body, Spirit Healthy Collective if you'd rather do that. And we'll just save all the conversation for there. And that's noon Eastern. The one thing about using 7 decks of cards is you have 7 decks of cards to put away. To organize 7 decks of cards. You guys get to choose. Hi, Carol. Hello, hello. Did you want to do that? We'll reconvene, and I'll post this video up, and then you guys can, if you want, you can re-watch it from the beginning to the end to see what the readings were for each of the little ones. No, it'll be 10 a.m. 10 a.m. for you, Sherry, in Alberta. It'll be 9 a.m. for Granny and Crystal, it's 2 hours difference between here and BC and Alberta. 2 hours difference between Ontario and Alberta. 3 hours between Ontario and BC. So we can reconvene at that point, and that way there. Or we can hang out here and do some chatting too. I did watch Greg Braden, an episode by Greg Braden. I don't know if any of you guys follow him, but you should. He's quite fantastic. He was a geologist. He worked for the Defense Department, not because he was choosing to work for the Defense Department, because that aligned with him, but it was just, it happened at that time. It was some kind of weird contract that he got. But he can talk, like, he talks about his whole story. But I had a really cool thing that I love watching things, right? And then having light bulbs go off and you're like, oh yeah. So we've talked before about how when you, like, I've talked about this on my channel before. So this isn't the new part. It's just the next opening level that is the awakening thing. But we talked about before on it, and this is perfect because Dee brought this up in the group. So it's just the way that it all comes together. It's just the synchronicity of the universe is magical. This is all the proof I need. I get all the time about how magical the world is. So I've talked about it before, about how when you are experiencing emotions such as love, joy, peace, bliss, what we would consider good emotions, but more what we call higher vibrational, because they vibrate at a higher vibration. And that's not that higher, or, you know, like, is better, because, you know, if you had higher levels of arsenic, that's not better, right? So higher doesn't mean better. But in this situation, if we use it that they vibrate at a higher frequency. And then feelings like shame, guilt, fear, anger, hate, all of those are, and more, are the lower vibrational energies. Woohoo, 1111. Are the lower vibrational energies. So with these, we've talked about this before, that when you're in the higher vibrational energy, your DNA spirals very loosely, like it is wide and expansive. With the other emotions, the lower vibrational emotions, your DNA tightens, and it tightens up and it gets really tiny. Well, my mom has made a couple loaves of bread this morning.
I'm making pie pastry right now.
She's making pastry right now, pie pastry.
So I can make apple pies and butter tarts.
Because she's making more apple pies and butter tarts. I'm a lucky girl. So anyway, in talking or in listening to this thing with Greg Braden, he was talking about that concept, that the tightening of the DNA. But he went on to say that with the DNA unspiraling, I heard in my mind from my guides it unzips. He said that what they have determined now is that when it loosens and that's when it replicates. Like it actually, the double helix, it spirals out until it becomes parallel and they separate. And so that's why my mind went unzip, and then another one comes in and it attaches to the strand, right? So you have a duplicate. So when you are in a state of happiness and joy and authenticity and love, you're literally in the fountain of youth. You are in the space of where your DNA is regenerative. So that's why the people who look super young and you're wondering, like, why do you look so young? It's probably because they're pretty relaxed, or they let things go and they just stay predominantly in a good state of mind. It doesn't matter what's going on around them. They manage to put themselves into that space of peace or happiness or gratitude or whatnot. The other thing that was interesting about the thing that I watched with Greg Braden was that he sorry, I'm putting my cards away and that is creating a little bit of a distraction, but you're just chilling. Everybody wants my mom's bacon, my mom's baked goods. Me too. I'm lucky. So it's delicious. I'm very excited about it because I like my mom's cooking, and there's nothing that beats it. I think that regardless of whether anyone comes for dinner this weekend, that we should have chicken and dumpling stew anyway. Mom mentioned it, and now it's like, well, I want it. I want to have it. So that's the regenerative thing. The other thing that they've been doing is when we're looking at the heart, I've talked about how from the heart math, they have 4141, but we are heart-focused beings. The heart receives the information and then it tells the brain what to do, and the brain, which is really great at, getting your body to function in an appropriate way. It's great at telling your heart to continue beating. It's great at managing the levels of hormones and stuff like that, right? Every mom's could. My mom's the best cook to me, and your mom's the best cook to you, and everybody else's moms are the best cooks to them. Somewhat. I know there's some out there that probably would say, no. My mom was not a good cook. But that's more of a rare thing, right? Our moms, it's a comfort thing. It's that connection to that comfort space. Yeah, there's definitely a bias. But I do know my mom cooks well, and that many people like what she does because they buy her food. So I do know that she cooks well. But I also know that other people who don't sell food cook well too. So it's just okay. So anyway, he was talking about the heart and that, and this toroidal field and how it's, this far out and stuff. And he said that one of the things that they've been trying to do throughout the, in all this testing and stuff, they want to look at the smallest particles. So they keep smashing particles against each other until they break apart in whatever the smallest particle is. The thing is that what they've beginning to determine is that as long as they keep trying to find a smaller particle, they will find a smaller particle because they're looking for it. Just like with the edge of the universe, they keep putting the Hubble telescope, like they get the telescopes out there trying to see the edge of the universe. They keep seeing more because they're looking for more. So they see it because you're creating it. So it's an incredible concept when you look at that. But they took a vacuum because they were like, oh, we're gonna test for the concept that there's nothing, right? So when they put it in a vacuum, they looked and it was not an empty space. There's protons or photons in there. So these little lights, right? The little lights are in there. So they have all these photons in there, and they're like, well, how are they arranged inside this vacuum? Are they all sitting on the bottom? Are they random? Are they all like on one side? Like, how is it? And of course, they're just randomly dispersed throughout the entire tube of the vacuum. So they decided, well, let's see what happens when we add human DNA into this environment. Does it affect it? And they found out at 4444 that yes, it does. They didn't find out at this time, but they found out. Yes, it does. I'm from Ontario, Canada, right now. Actually, I was born in Ontario, Canada, so technically I'm from there. From my mom. Well, thank you. So these, so they put the human DNA in the vacuum with the protons and found out, yes, of course, it does affect it. And so all of these things that they're testing, they looked at your heart and how we can measure it, and they've actually been able to measure it up to a mile out. A mile out. Your heart, a mile out. It can affect the energy a mile away from you. Like, but we know it can do more than that, because in prayer and stuff, you can, I will not, no, I'm just teasing. Carol's like, wait a second. Hang on. I'm going to put a fence up. Okay. So they also did studies to see, I know, I know, I was teasing you. I was teasing, totally teasing. So they know they were doing tests, and they've been testing this for many, many years, testing, and you know how like when you do the global meditations, you can actually see the rise in it, right? And so yes, I do. I have grandchildren. Thank you. And I'm not picking anybody up here. I'm having a conversation about other stuff. So thank you. I appreciate you. I thank you, but thank you. So they've detected that for there to create change in an environment, that what you need is 0.01%. He does. 0.1% of the population. So if you had people who are feeling sad, let's say you're in a group of 10 people, if 9 of those people are feeling sad, only one person is needed to shift that vibration. In a world of 8 billion people, they have it figured that 8,000 people need to focus on peace for peace to reign across the world. 8,000. And I mean, we talk about the 144,000, and I think the 144,000 is a very important number. But think about all the global group meditations, or the collectives like us, or the people that are coming in and having conversations or sitting and engaging while other people are talking about these concepts. They're awakening too. They're starting to awaken to that. When you look at the states, whether you are voted red or voted blue, it doesn't matter to me. I see you as light. I see you and I treat you based on how you treat me, not that. And I have a lot of education. I actually have 9 years post-secondary education. And since I seem to be filling out a resume here, I'm 49 for less than a month. I have 2 children. My oldest child turns 32 this coming year. And my baby turns 30 10 days after I turn 50. I have 2 grandchildren, one 6-year-old who will be 7 this coming year, and a 3-year-old who turns 4 in January. Anything else you'd like to know? I have a bachelor's of nursing. I nursed for 20 years. I retired from it when I was the director of nursing and a part of the senior management. I went back for a little bit into occupational health, working for a pharmaceutical company. COVID really just took nursing out of my mind because of all of the vaccine stuff and mandates and all of that. I just didn't want to nurse anymore, and my healing journey woke me up as well to the fact that there is actually true healing available to people. Anything else you'd like to know? I'm 5'8" as well. I love you, Carol. And I'll tell you something when we're in the collective, okay? I'll tell you something, and you'll know it too, okay? So these were really cool things that we're learning. Really, really, really crazy and empowering things that we're learning. The fact that 8,000 people collectively can change the vibration of the world. That your heart in the physical space, you could send out peace and be in joy and in these beautiful energies and affecting a mile radius around you. That when you sit in that space of joy and love and appreciation, that your DNA is duplicating itself in the most magical way at your most expressive, healthiest representation of your DNA. And that in the space that they think is nothing, there is something. They can't find a space where there isn't something. Because once you look for something, something is there. So how magical do you feel to be a part of that? To know that you create that? Because you're one of the ones observing it, right? So by observing or by expecting, by knowing, right? Once you start seeking it, so if you're seeking your gifts, right? Your gifts are there because once you believe that you have them, once you believe that you are clairvoyant or that you have extrasensory gifts, you do, because you're looking for them, they exist. I felt somebody doing that. I felt their brain going, that's, yeah. How cool is that? Right? So what you desire is already there because you desire it. It's waiting for you. So when you're in the state of authenticity, it does not matter. Once you are aligned with yourself, you literally could stay at your house and the person that you are meant to align with would knock on your door. That's how the universe would collaborate that. It would not matter. It would be something you would not believe, the way that they could create the synchronicities to bring that to you when you are in alignment with it. If we just get out of our own way and know that it's ours, because we observe it, we are aware of it. Once you become aware that it's yours, it's yours. You've created it. Sorry. It's really cool. Really cool. And we can have more discussion about that, and I look forward to hearing what your guys' input is on that particular thing, right? And we'll talk about that more. We'll talk about, we can even discuss the card readings. But what I'm going to do is I am going to shut down the YouTube for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Transformation Thursday. We'll be starting at 10 a.m. though, because tomorrow I have an afternoon meeting And the same thing with Friday. It'll be a 10 a.m. start because I have the Divine Feminine, aka the new group, Sacred Union, which is getting a rebrand. But that group, we have a meeting at 2 because it's a super full moon in Gemini. So we will be having our Sacred Circle meeting on that day. To do some powerful energy work. And if you are looking for a collective where we are, it's my moon. So where we, in this group, it is about healing sacred wounds. You definitely can. You definitely can. It is healing sacred wounds, and the way that we do these energetically, we work within the quantum realm. I teach you how to do these powerful energetic practices. We are healing, things like persecution wounds. We're healing mother-father wounds. We're healing feminine masculine wounds. We're healing all of those woundings. We're connecting with our higher self. We connect with our higher power, whether you identify that as God, source, the universe, whichever it is. We are recreating those sacred circles, those connections, the communities that we used to have in the we are also reawakening the divine feminine energy, and we are aligning it with the divine masculine and bringing those into harmony. It's really powerful, and we talk about what the moon phase that we're currently dealing with. We do a powerful meditation. I call them channeled quantum activation meditations, and so we do those. We do one of those as well on that day. So it's very powerful. It is $44 Canadian per month for that group because of the powerful energy work that we do within it. And it's available on the website. It will be getting a rebrand. I'm going to be changing the name on 555 for the time that I've been live here, all the fives across the board, which talk of change. And so it will be being rebranded. It used to be exclusive to women, but I've decided to really look at non-duality and the fact that everybody has feminine and masculine energy within them, and we all need to reawaken our feminine and align our masculine. So the group is it's now a combined group of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So if that aligns with you, however you identify, because again, I've said this in my messaging before, you are a light being, I am a light being, this is my vessel for this experience. And last time I picked a different one. And so I've been a multitude of different things. I've looked a bunch of different ways. I've been different sexes. I've been attracted to different people of different sexes. And that's just who we all have been. It's like playing a video game and you're picking an avatar and you pick a different avatar each time. You want to experience different things. And so we've all done that. So I love you guys, and I will see those of you who are in the Mind, Body, Spirit Healthy Collective in the Zoom meeting at 12:30, so in 1 hour. Okay, in 1 hour I will see you there. And if you're looking for a beautiful, supportive environment, no matter where you are in your healing or awakening and journey, come to the Mind, Body, Spirit Healthy Collective, where we will bring you in with so much love and support, and you are just become one of our family. And I love you, and have a beautiful day. Mwah. Bye, guys.